So now that I've connected to the server, you can see the Shabazz server's right there, and I even have the art server kind of hanging out down here. So that'll be a nice quick access to any materials I might need on the shared folder. I have my folder with a folder in it that says Kitten Project, so I have a place to put my stuff. I'm going to start looking for what I need for the article. I made a list while I was reading the article of some things that I'm going to need. I know I'm going to need a background to put behind the article just to give it either a little color, a little texture. Graphic designers often utilize backgrounds to make the words and text a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to be looking for a background. I think I'm going to need 2 or 3 pictures of kittens just being super duper cute. I'm also going to need a way to showcase some percentages to create some graphics. So I think I'm going to find some paw prints on Google. And I also am going to need some air bubbles that don't have a background so that I can have the quote really nicely showcased. So I need some air bubbles or some word bubbles. So I have a list of what I'm looking for. I'm going to begin my search on Google. Adobe Illustrator is a program that uses already existing images. You can also draw your own, but oftentimes graphic designers will kind of use what exists and will manipulate them. So I'm going to go onto Google and I'm going to start my search. So once I'm on Google, if I go to images, I can type in kitten, and I get lots and lots of totally adorable options. But before I get too excited that, oh man, this kitten is oh so cute, I need to adjust some of the search settings. If I go under tools, you'll see a bunch of stuff pops up. Some of it is going to be incredibly useful to me. The big thing is usage rights. We do not want to be using images that are copyrighted, that someone could argue, oh, you're using a picture that belongs to me and you're selling the yearbook for money, so therefore you owe me money. We want to avoid that situation. So we want to find one that's labeled for use with modification. That'll give us a lot more options that people aren't necessarily going to be upset that we're using them. And it basically says you can use it as long as you're not using it in its pure form. So we're cropping it or using it in an article, so then that's going to be okay. This picture here seems totally perfect to me. I'm liking it. It's cute, showcases those little furry ears. I can see a lot of other options related to it. So there's a couple ways that I can get this picture. You can try to drag and drop it, but that's going to link it as an internet file, and we want the actual photograph, so I'm not going to do that. I also can go to the website and look at it that way, but the easiest way on a Mac is to do a screenshot. I do want to get the picture in kind of the biggest form possible, so I'm just going to zoom out so I can see it. It's nice and crisp. It was a little bit pixelated before. And if I hit Command-Shift-4, you'll see these little crosshairs appear. And I can drag this over my image, and it's going to take a photograph of it. You can hear the camera clicking. And it shows up right on my desktop as a JPEG file, which is the exact type of file that we want. So that's another way you can get a picture if the JPEG isn't obvious to you. I'm going to keep looking down. Oh my goodness, one in a little bowl. Could you ask for more? So again, I'm going to go visit the site. There's the picture. If I drag it over from the website, it actually copied the JPEG. So there's different ways you can find the images. You can screenshot it. You can drag and drop, but you often have to go to the website to find it. I think I'm going to, 2 kittens is probably enough. Now I'm going to look for a background images. So I'm thinking it would be kind of cute to have the texture of fur as my background. So I'm going to look up fur background. Go into images. I'm always going to make sure that it's on for use with modification. I can specify in some of these other settings things that maybe I really want my background to be just black and white, so I can change that. If I need it to be a JPEG file, I can specify that. So if I want a photograph, that means it'll be a JPEG. That can be useful to me. If I want it to be a really large size, because I know it's going to be the background, That means I don't want it to get super pixelated. If it's a tiny file and I'm stretching it big, I can go to large, and then that gives me lots of options too. So looking at all of these, oh, that picture of a cat is really cute, but I'm thinking that maybe not black and white, so I'm going to go to any color and see what I get here. Cheetah print is kind of cute. I think this tiger one would be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it gives me a couple other options, which is kind of nice. I really like this one. So I'm going to go visit the site. There's my picture. It looks like it's kind of a smaller size, but we'll see what it looks like when we put it together. Drag it over. There's my JPEG of the background. So far I've got some kitten images, I've got a background. I'm going to need to create some graphics to go with statistics. So I'm going to look for paw prints. And again, I'm just using the search window on Firefox. If you want to use Google Chrome, you might prefer how that works too. This one I'm going to go into images, go into my tools. Now this one, if I go transparent, that means the background behind the paw prints won't show up, and that actually will be really helpful to me if I want it kind of in the article. So I'm going to definitely make it transparent, and then I change it to reuse with modification. I think this one here looks awesome. That'll work for me. So I'll go ahead and visit the site. There's the file, and I can grab it and pull it over. Now you notice this is a different kind of file. It's called a PNG file. So that basically means it's a file type that the computer sees the object in the picture and it doesn't see the background, and that's why you see this little checkerboard. So that's super helpful to me. That's actually going to make my life a lot easier. The last thing I need are some word bubbles because there's quotes that I want to capture. Word bubbles. I go into images, always making sure to make sure the usage rights are appropriate. And this one I also want transparent. And I think this guy is going to be great. So if I go visit the site, there's the bubble. And now that I'm looking, it looks like I have more options than I thought. I actually really like that one. So I'm going to go ahead, click on it, pull it over. Also a PNG file. Now that I have all this stuff on my desktop, I need to make sure it gets into the right spot before I start working on Illustrator. So I'm going to close out all my stuff. I'm going to open up my Rachel folder. There's the kitten project. And if I hold down the mouse and a little box appears, I can select everything at once and just pull it on over, hover it over your folder, drop it in, and once you click on it, you can see everything is right there. If you want to see exactly what it is, you can change how it's laid out. And then you can see that I can see a preview of what I'm clicking on. That can be handy sometimes.